All right, hello everybody. Hello. Today's video is going to be about Simulacrum and exactly, or I should say, I guess, roughly how much money you can make per Simulacrum. So first of all, we kind of have to talk about how you can clear the Simulacrum, right? If you want to farm it, you have to be able to clear it. Right now, Essence Drain was surprisingly very well at clearing it, especially after they nerfed the boss life, by half, which really helped. The one thing that really helps with Essence Drain, other than everything constantly spreading, is Patient Reaper. So uh, my life, my energy shield, and my mana, I get, a percentage of that every time I kill something. This is actually super helpful because there's going to be tons of like tiny little hits, and especially later, they're actually going to be pretty big hits. And so as long as I don't get one shot, I'm pretty much fine. I just keep running around. Things are constantly dying. I'm constantly getting my energy shield and life back. It's pretty easy, except for the bosses, because they can one shot you. But other than that, it's not so bad. Farming the Simulacrum, sometimes it was kind of boring, especially, you have to go from wave 1 all the way up to 10 plus to start getting some actual decent drops. And it's really jarring going from wave 20. There's tons of stuff that's harder to kill. You might get a boss spawn, and then you go all the way back to wave 1, and it's like going back to act 1 on a fully decked out character. It's just like ugh. But whatever. There's a few runs in these 20 simulacrums where I had ripped it on wave like 19 or 20. I mean, that's fine. Like, you lose some money, but as long as most of the time you can complete, I mean, even if you can't do wave 20, you can definitely still make money on this. But, most of the time you want to be able to, completely clear these, otherwise you're just losing money. Um, so let's talk about the bosses. So their health has been nerfed, but mechanically, so how do these work, and how can you beat them? Now on Essence Drain, I found it pretty easy since our damage comes from dots, and I can put some totems down fairly easily. Um, the strategy for them is, so they both have this move where they're going to jump or like teleport up and slam down on you. You've just got to dodge that 100%, full stop. You can't get hit by that no matter what. I found, I have not that much ES, I suppose, 7,500. But it just gets one shot every time, especially later on. I guess maybe if they spawn on wave 10 or something, you can eat, one of them or something. But I mean, you just want to get in the habit of, you see them and you've just got to instantly flame dash away. The guy, I forget the names, laser ball guy. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if I say that. His, laser balls that he puts down, when he jumps, it's like a bigger and bigger like AoE explosion. It's like shattering the ground out. If one of those, electrical shatter things touches one of the balls, then it's also going to shatter out from that ball as well. So that's something you have to take in mind because that will also do a lot of damage, just like the initial one. So it's kind of like, the shockwave. If the shockwave touches the ball, it's going to also shockwave out, ripple out from the ball. So you just kind of have to be wary of that. Other than those two, the one guy does a big jump, they both have their jump move or whatever that'll one shot you. Other than that, it's actually pretty easy. The strategy to fight them is to just be really close to them. You might take a hit, but if you're just like rocking your character back and forth, you should be in front of them. They're going to start swinging. You start running behind them. They swing, it completely misses you. They start turning around, and then, they're going to just do that. You just have to repeat that. It's like a rhythm. You just have to get down. And, it depends. Sometimes there's a haste aura from like a rare or whatever, or, they'll be boosted from attack speed or something. I mean, it's just something you have to kind of get the feel for. Most of the time, you shouldn't be getting hit by, their normal melee attack. And then they each have a move where, the big fat one will like almost like puke up some projectiles or something. So once you see him start going like, like he's gonna hurl or whatever, you just start circling around him and he'll try to follow you. So I'll always try to make sure to have my Quicksilver up, and then he'll try to follow you while hurling up all those projectiles, you know, like a turd or whatever. But I mean, you just stay behind him and you're perfectly fine. Same with the laser ball guy. You know, he'll start throwing he'll like slam his axe and it'll be shooting out electrical bolts or like fireballs or whatever. You just have to stay behind him, you know, don't get hit by the projectiles. It's actually pretty easy. Some of the layouts are bad. You know, if you get stuck in like a tight little corridor, it's hard to really circle around. So, I mean, you kind of have to bait them out sometimes. But other than that, I mean, just dodge the slam and, you know, stay close. Because if you don't stay close, they will start jumping to you or jumping onto you. And, you know, you just don't want that. I mean, if you stay close to them, you can, you know, bait their attack, go behind them, hit them with an ED, bait the attack, go behind, hit them. You know, it's just like a nice little rocking back and forth motion. They're like super, super easy to fight once you kind of get that down. But yeah, I mean, other than bosses, it's pretty easy to farm the Simulacrum. What I found was, so after like wave 10, you know, all the way up to wave 20, each of those waves has a chance to spawn a boss, and, you know, each of those is rolled separately. So you can get 0 bosses or you can get 2 bosses, which really sucks once you get to the later waves. If you get a 2 boss wave, it's pretty difficult. It's possible, you know, it's just like, it's kind of annoying to kind of juggle them around. But sometimes you can separate them, you know, get one to jump to you, and then you just kill them on the other side of the map. But I don't know, even if you rip it or whatever, like, you know, you just got to try. You've got a bunch of portals because you're softcore players. So whatever, if you die, it's fine. But yeah, anyway, if you don't have Patient Reaper, so let's say you're not like Trickster or something, you can probably just pick up a Cinder Swallow Flask. Those also give ES life and energy shield on kill. So that's a pretty good one if you're just like getting chunked and not regenning. I mean, if you just get a Cinder Swallow, you're going to be getting a bunch of life or ES or both, you know, on kill, which is pretty good because, you know, there's a bunch of little guys and they're going to hit you a bunch. So you want to just constantly have some source of, you know, getting your life back. You know, leech works, but, you know, getting the life on kill or whatever works much, much better with how many are spawning. So anyway, so these are all the stash tabs I got from doing 20 simulacrums worth of loot. You know, these quad tabs, you know, each simulacrum filled up about 2 normal tabs, which is pretty crazy. I feel bad for anyone, those poor free-to-play players who don't have a ton of tab space. Like, it took almost all of the tabs I have. You know, I was like starting to clear out tons and tons of tabs in the end. But all of these tabs are just completely filled to the brim. You know, luckily I had just enough for all the unveiling and, you know, because I wanted to get some veiled mods or whatever. But anyway, this is just all the loot. You know, it's hard to tell exactly how much it's worth just by looking at that, obviously, which is why I have EXILES next here. So this is a pretty big number, right? For 20 simulacrums. Unfortunately, this program is kind of bad with some things. It'll like give random prices to like the Flora's Gift, like, oh, these are 1 chaos each. No, they're not. Dojo's Madness is not 1 chaos each. You know, the Scholar, that's not 1 chaos each. Like stuff like this, you know, the Catalyst, and you know, it gives some goofy prices, but generally it's pretty good. So what I did is I went through and actually Google Sheet or whatever, Google spreadsheet this. So, whoopsies. So, what's actually the profit here is, you know, I got 16 exalts, just about, now that's including big items that I got. So, you know, a Lighten level 3, it was clean. That's 168 chaos. You know, I just put an exalt in there and whatever chaos was left over. You know, there was 2.7 exalts for a void battery, 5x for faded connections, 3.4 for Vol Blade Vortex 2123. That was pretty cool. And then like 3 exalt drops, and then a 2120 caustic arrow drop, which was about 2.3 exalts. So it was about 16 exalts total in drops, which is, that's pretty nice. That's almost an Exalt in big drops every time. And there was a bunch of chaos as well, which is pretty cool. All right, so those were the big drops. It was pretty cool. So obviously that was lucky, right? Like I could have got some like really trash tier 1 unique drop instead of Void Battery. I could have got, instead of the super meta 2123 Vol Gem, I don't know, I could have got a 2123 Vol Earthquake or Vol Double Strike or something dumb like that. And same with the Caustic Arrow, that those were like super lucky drops. So I did calculate the profit. So for the big drops and stuff. So the cost of 20 maps was 1200 chaos. I bought 20 of them at 60C each. So roughly I went down and put in the first 200 entries for the EXILENTS next. So I went all the way down. There's another 283 entries. You can see. Oh no, I want that off. All right. You can see there's 483 total entries. I went down to the first 200 because the last few are like white maps and stuff, and maybe I'll sell those eventually. It's kind of annoying to do that though, unfortunately. But I went down. I figured the first 200 entries, that's good enough. Also, I took off dumb stuff like Last Hope. I took off every incubator. You're not really going to be selling incubators. If incubators have value, you should be using the value they have for yourself. So you should put them on your gear. I took off, dumb divination cards. Splinters were being weird, so I just went all the way through and just combined all the splinters into the stones. So no div cards, no splinters, no incubators. Let's see. And, that's about most of the kind of dumb pricing things. So I took all those out. So the profit with like some sick drops, like really good drops per map is like 288 chaos, which is pretty crazy. Each map takes, if you're a super fast gamer, like 20 minutes. Otherwise, it's like a half hour kind of ordeal, which kind of sucks. But you do get a lot of money per map. If you get super lucky, it's like 576 chaos per hour. That's pretty cool. Let's say that you don't get super cool big drops. So this is no Void Battery, none of the Exalt drops. Like, let's just say you get 0 Exalt drops. No cool drops, like, at all. You only get, like, chaos and above. That's 3,784, in profit. So that's including, the cost of the 20 maps. So profit per hour with no big stuff, it's still 378 chaos. That's pretty good. That's like almost 3 Exalts. With the price they're dropping at, they're almost like a 130 a piece now. That's pretty good. This is good money. The profit per map. So you pay 60 chaos, you get back 3 times what you put in per map. If you don't get like any extra ops, no lucky stuff. So what I did is I went down and also did the average drop per map. So, almost every map I was getting about an Exalt drop worth of like super nice items. So that's pretty cool. So, 99 chaos and like cool item drops per map. That already, paid for every map and then some. And, every map was like 10 chaos. I got about 14 chaos in stacked decks, 10 chaos in Tull Breachstones, which is pretty surprising. But, it is what it is. 8 chaos in Catalysts for Prismatic and Fertile. All the way down, you can see exactly how much about per map you'll be getting. So, yeah, in summary, this is actually pretty good money. I found it, like, super boring, though, especially going from, like, wave 20 all the way down to, like, 1 through 10. It's just, like, I don't know. It's just, like, super boring, but I guess it's worth it. If you're just looking for something to, like, grind your money away, even if you don't get big drops, like, every 60 chaos you spend, and if you can complete most of the time wave 20, you're getting, like, 3 times your money back, which is pretty good. It's pretty crazy. And if you can clear it even faster, you know, that's even more money. You know, let's say that you can do, I don't know, 3 maps an hour. Well, there you go. You know, you've got another 189 chaos per hour on top of this. So, you know, let's say you're a super fast clear speed gamer. So 378 plus another 189, you know, it brings it up to 567 chaos per hour. With exalts at 130, you're making like 4.3x an hour, dude. If you can do these 20 minutes each, with no big drops, it's pretty crazy. If you can get through, you know, the mind rot of just like doing these waves one after another, and then just like get a 2 boss spawn, and then, you know, you've got to be able to kill that, you know, quick, or your profit per hour or whatever goes down. But anyway, it's worth it if you can do it. I recommend you do them if you have them, absolutely. Even if you can't do wave 19 or wave 20, you're probably still going to be making your money back. You know, you just lose a little value out of that. But they're definitely worth it, especially at 60 chaos. These are probably, you know, going to go up once people realize, you know, exactly how profitable these are. And this, I didn't even get like a cool 3 voice drop or like really anything. I just got all those trash uniques, you know, the gloves, the chest, the helmet, the boots. Like, they're all just garbage uniques. I didn't get any cool, I got like the unique jewels, but those are also just trash as well. Like, they're not worth anything. But yeah, I mean, even if you don't get cool stuff, still big money. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you guys know. Try to pick these up while you can and do them while you can before everybody else does. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.